What does it actually take to fly a small plane into Canada? Paperwork, customs, hidden gotchas. Last time out we landed here at Calgary International. We'll talk about the customs process and how to get in here on the way to Banff in the car.
I'm assuming filing paperwork is no different than going to the Bahamas or Mexico. You got some paperwork to file, but what are the procedures to actually get in and out of Canada, seeing how you guys fly in and out of Canada all the time?
And so the first thing is you need to go and get your CBP decal. So in order to get back to the United States, you have to pay, I think it's like $35, $40 for the year.
Okay.
So you get a CBP decal, then you create on the eAPIS website, which DHS runs. It's not the prettiest website, but honestly, if you just follow the steps, it doesn't take that long to submit the paperwork. But you just create an account, get a sender ID is what they call it, and then just fill out a little bit about the airplane, color, just like you would do on a normal like ICAO flight plan. And then you submit it. Under Part 91, you should get automated email approving you going out. But for good measure, especially since I fly Part 135, make sure that you actually got approval from the station. So in our case, we headed out of Billings, Montana. It's a little tough because you don't know which CBP facility covers that. They don't have it on site. So originally I started off with Great Falls, Montana or something like that. GTF is the airport code. And they said, try Bozeman or Helena. So Bozeman was fine. They were easy. They cleared us outbound. When we come back into the United States, we're going to have to go to the first port of entry, which along our route is going to be Glacier Park, Montana. I haven't submitted anything for that yet because they're not even open at the moment. But we'll do that. As far as coming in Canada, it's pretty simple. They have a thing called CANPASS. You just call a number up. Option 1 for English, option 3 to submit your details. Go through what's your name, purpose of the visit, go through your declaration questions, passport numbers, and time. And so one thing that's different about flying in the U.S. versus different in Canada versus the U.S. is you have to have slots. So those are handled by the FBO. So I just called Millionaire here. They submitted the slots for me. So we had a time that we had to leave the U.S., a time that we committed to crossing the border, time plus or minus 1 hour coming into Canada. Once we landed, call CANPASS again. They say, hey, who are you? Make sure that none of your declarations have changed. And they said, you're free to go. Didn't even meet anybody. And we were in and out. I mean, that was quick.
Yeah, that
maybe
was
3
quick.
minutes.
Yeah, maybe 3 minutes.
Let me just add, that whole process sounded like a lot.
Yeah.
But maybe I spent an hour between calls in total and government websites. It really wasn't bad.
Let's go back to the start of it and talk about what each part of that actually is and what it does.
Okay. So as far as I understand, the decals are just a way of tax revenue. It's like having your radio operator's license to fly internationally. I didn't take a test. I didn't do anything other than just pay the government money. That's fine.
Welcome to aviation.
At least it's not too expensive, relatively speaking. The eAPIS website, you're just dealing with the government as far as, you're allowed to leave the United States. There's nothing prohibiting you. I think they just want to know where their citizens are going. I think it's as simple as that. In Canada, same sort of deal, except I actually really like the way that Canada does customs and immigration for private travel, because in the U.S. you have to call the local facility, which might only be open Wednesday through Saturday between 8 and 4, except on Tuesdays they're not open between 12:30 and 3. All of that stuff is really hard to manage. I shouldn't say hard, it's just tedious, because you're probably not going to get it right. Like, I thought that was the closest airport to get clearance out of, but it was actually Bozeman, which was further away.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I know. I was looking at that. It must be a jump facility just to derail what we're talking about here, because it's too short to do anything else.
But with Canada, you just call up and they do all the coordination on the back end for you. It's 24/7. I think that's the way that we should go. The only downside is if you have a lot of passengers, at least in the U.S., you submit everything electronically, so the passport numbers, expirations, full name, all that, citizenship. And if you can imagine talking through all of that, can make it a little bit longer than you would prefer, but it's not the end of the world. By the way, last time I was in Calgary making this drive, we went by this, there's a little cafe.
Market.
Yeah, we went by the farmer's market. It's cool.
All right, where are the gotchas in this? Because one of the gotchas I didn't know was if you had a DWI, you couldn't come into Canada.
Yeah, if you have anything on your record, Canada is not probably going to take you. So you have to have a clean record to come here. But I know that
I wasn't against it. It was just one of those things like you don't know. I would have got, if I'd have had a DW, I don't have any DWs, thank God. But that would be something I would have never even thought to think about.
Yeah, here, as you can imagine, I don't fly with anything that would be considered a weapon, but you definitely cannot bring that into Canada, anything that's remotely like that. I shouldn't say you can't. I never have. I don't know what the process is, but I am sure that it is not easy. I mean, they do have hunting out here, so I would imagine they would, in that context, maybe allow you. But we weren't going on a hunting trip. We're going out hiking.
There we go.